Right? So I went ahead for another 3-4 months, totally ignored his comment and just did what I did. My views weren't terrible, but they weren't great either. You know, at that point, I'd hit 100,000 subscribers. I was completely excited. It was just before my birthday, and I had every reason to celebrate. So, sometime in June 2021, I said to myself, you know what? Just looking at my YouTube analytics, the kind of audience I had and stuff like that. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something I'm not taking advantage of. So piggybacking on what the guy's comment was, that he thought that I should focus on relationship, I was like, yeah, maybe that is actually my niche. Let me try something out. So I suddenly dropped like all the content I made about everything else, real estate, personal finance, and the whole gamut, right? I dropped everything and decided to focus only on relationship advice. And even within offering relationship advice, I decided to focus only on relationship advice from men. I'll explain why I did that. But you see, it was only after I started really, truly creating content for men, offering relationship advice and suggestions from men on how to navigate the very murky waters of the world of women, right? That was the only time that I truly began 100,000 subscribers in 8 months. And then I went from 100,000 subscribers to, at the time, 500,000 subscribers in another 8 months. So that's a little bit about my journey and how I got here and how I decided to just focus on one thing and try and do it well. But there are a lot of it, so I'm going to try to be brief with them. There are 4 things that you need to do if you want to be able to create a niche or find a niche and grow in that niche. And that's what I'm going to share in this video right now. Number 1 is to find your school of fish. And by that, I mean your school of fish could be your audience, right? How do you find your audience? You find your audience by really paying attention to your channel. What kind of content are you creating that is getting the most kind of views? Who are these people? You see, because we are lucky enough to be creating content on digital media, platforms like YouTube give you like very great insights into who's watching you, where they're watching you from, what kind of device they're even watching you on, you know. And so you're able to take advantage of such information and use that to really chart a path that could work for you. So find your school of fish. You can find your school of fish in another person's pond, or you can start your own pond and grow your fish, right? There's no wrong way to do it per se. It's just a matter of your circumstances and what would work for you. People talk about writing good comments, valuable comments under the channels of people who are already successful in the niche you want to pursue to get attention. Some talk about going on platforms like Reddit and all these online platforms and that sort of answer people's questions and starting from there and being really good enough that people want to follow you to wherever you're going just to see what more you have to share, right? Or you can just start from the scratch where you have a couple of hundreds of followers and you're just going to start preaching to them. If the message hits them enough, they will share your content by word of mouth. Number 2 is trying to figure out what kind of bait they're biting on, right? And by that I mean, what kind of things are appealing to this specific audience that you want to target? What do they already enjoy? What do they already watch on YouTube? What kind of content triggers them, right? So it's doing a bit of research to figure out, okay, this is the demographic of people that follow me. You go to your YouTube analytics, you go to audiences or audience, and then you do a breakdown. Okay, how many women are watching me? How many men are watching me? How old are they, right? And then sort of really thinking through it to figure out, okay, if you have, say, 18 to 25-year-olds in the majority, what are these 18 to 25-year-olds worried about when it comes to your niche and creating content for them, right? Number 3 is supercharging your bait. By supercharging your bait, I simply mean, what is it that's going to make them want to watch the content that you've created for them? Is it in your editing? Is it because you tell better stories? Is it because you have remixed old content in such an entertaining way that they can't have enough of you, right? Supercharge your bait. Identify your unique selling proposition. That one thing that sets you apart from everybody else, and hammer on it. Because that is what will make you different, and that's what will make your content stand out in a very crowded market. 4th thing you do is to create a feeding frenzy. So you found your school of fish, you've identified the bait they're biting on, you've supercharged your personal bait, and you are creating a feeding frenzy by giving them more of what they want. Now, here are some key lessons I'd like you to pick up from today's video. Now, lesson number 1 is your niche will not always be obvious to you. Unless, of course, you're one of those people who just gets up and starts with a niche, right? Most of the time, it will just come to you based on the response that you get from your audience. Like, you should be able to look at your top 10 videos, for instance, and figure out why those videos performed way better than the rest. Because there are lots of secrets that lie within the content that you've already created that can direct you, on a path that you need to go. Number 2, pay attention to your YouTube analytics. When I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is I pick my phone, I go into my analytics, and I just check to see what's going on. If things are changing, if my audience is changing, if I'm losing more, for instance, male following to female following and stuff like that, or if I'm maintaining my general audience. If you know your audience, you're able to really serve them with what they want.
Well, 2 more people.
2.
Okay, Kwadwo, who did you meet? Apart from?
Okay, I also met John Tech, who also taught me a lot. Yeah. I wanted to know more about how I can promote my videos on YouTube.
Kwadwo and Ajotech. Okay, so we see a future collaboration. Maybe you do a video together. Yeah, Tech Brothers,
You get it? Yeah. If you don't get it, forget about it.
It's a good idea. I mean, some of my favorite tech YouTubers, that's Mr. Who's the Boss and MKBHD. They usually do collaborations together. So perhaps you can do something like that, right? Yeah, and then I'll leave those people and come to you. Be my favorite tech YouTubers. Who next? Water. All right.
It's a very hard journey, but we first started an event company before we started at Coachella. So I actually moved back to Ghana in 2014. So that Christmas, I moved in October. That Christmas, I invited 32 of my friends to come to Ghana, and 14 of them came. But we had another company in America called Big Five. So that the second Christmas, 2015, we said, let's have an event in Ghana, and it flopped.
What was the name of the event?
It was Christmas in GH. Terrible. Then we did another event, flopped again. Then we did another event, December 26, 2016, at Shiny Beach, even worse. The artists didn't even show up. So that time it was 11 of us in the group. So the other 9 guys was like, oh no, they're not doing anything else in Ghana. Let's just stick to what's going on in America. But Abdul came up with the idea and said, okay, we used to just go out in the evening. The rest of the guys would sleep, but then I'd go to work because I was working in Ghana. And he was like, let's have a festival. But the other guys were like, no, it's not going to work because all the failed events that we did in Ghana so far. Then I went to him, like, let's just do it. At this point, what's the worst that can happen?
Don't be up from here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Can't keep going further now. So he went back to the US, so 2017, February, he called me, I found a venue. I'm like, how do you find a venue in New York? But then it was Polo Club. So then I went to Polo Club on my lunch break. We sort of know this is nice.
But Ghanaians and especially Nigerians are very critical of us cooking. I'm that girl that grew up and I did not have tough skin at all. Yeah, full of Jimmy. Yes. So I remember recently one of my JSS teachers called. First, he reached out and said, Maclina, are you sweet or jelly? And I said yes. And he said, no way, I want to talk to you. So he calls and we're talking and he said, Maclina, so you are sweet or jelly? You that will not talk, you that will not look at anybody, you are sweet or jelly. I'm so proud of you. You a crybaby, how are you doing it? Because people will hurt your feelings. Growing up, they say stick and stones, they break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It is a lie. It is a big lie because people will taunt you. People, at one point, somebody left a comment and said, you are somebody that people are looking up to. I'm so disappointed in you that you're bleaching your skin. That made me cry. That was the first time I responded to something because I'm lazy. I don't even put on lotion after I take my shower. So that is a hard work. And so I posted a picture of me when I was just 21 and they still insisted that something is not right with my skin. So you get comments like that, and then you get the comments where you make palm nut soup. And in Ghana, we add tomatoes to palm nut soup. I guess in Nigeria, they don't. So somebody will say, oh, you just cooked rubbish. We don't add. And when you first read that, it hurts. I don't know if it's with other countries that they do that, but when it comes to cooking on the internet, you will be bullied like you've never been bullied before. I'm telling you. So I guess me being bullied when I first got to America was just preparing me for this. So it's the way you respond to that bully that will win you more followers, that will make people see you as that you're doing that stick and stone. No, you're hurt. But I cannot jolly meaning if somebody's coming at you angry, it's your response to them that will cool them down.
So I'm going to be engaging them, but first of all, I would want them to give us a bit of introduction.
My YouTube Ameyaw TV is a reflection of what I've been doing over the years, which primarily has been creating content about my experiences.
Thank you. Natural girl.
Small correction. Okay, so my channel is kind of like a mixture of stuff. So I vlog sometimes, I do property tours, I do interviews with diaspora, anything really. I try my hands at everything. I started my channel about 6 years ago, I think, when I'm kind of at the beginning stages when I moved to Ghana, and I kind of wanted to document what it was like here because I didn't have anyone who had done what I was doing before me to kind of look at. And so my channel was actually birthed out of frustration of not understanding how the system here works and stuff like that. And it just kind of grew from there. I didn't know what I was walking into basically. So my channel was very much.
My channel is mostly about dance, but then my other social media platforms are for influencing brands, you know, representing them, and also advertising.
So my name is Kwadwo Sheldon. I like you, teacher. So my name is Kwadwo Sheldon. I'm the founder of House of Content, and under the umbrella we have the Kwadwo Sheldon brand, the Show of the Day. We have a lot of different lines of content under the House of Content brand. I'm the content guy.
Ivy.
My name is Ivy Prosper, and my channel is Ivy Prosper. I tell stories from Africa and the African diaspora with primary focus on Ghana. And my channel started a long time ago, long before people were trying to become content creators.
I would want my first question to be, how should YouTubers position themselves to foster some of this collaboration with businesses here in Ghana?
So with respect to collaborating with businesses, you have to approach them in a professional way, because I think one of the things that a lot of young Ghanaians do is they don't consider the fact that when you're reaching out for a brand collaboration, that it's a business and it's not your friend you're reaching out to. Because sometimes people will send a DM to the Instagram pages, whether it's my own personal platforms or the Ghana Tourism platforms. People will send a message like they're sending a WhatsApp to one of their buddies, and that's not how you approach it. First of all, look at the brand and see, does this brand fall in line with what you're doing? Is there a connection? What is the mutual benefit? It's not only about you to go on and say, well, I want you to do A, B, C, and D. Well, what are you offering them in exchange? It has to be mutually beneficial. And sometimes what you have to offer may not necessarily be because you have a lot of subscribers, because I probably have the least subscribers on this panel. On my YouTube channel, I have about 22,000 subscribers, but I have a good return on investment when people invest in collaborating with me, because people know that they get factual information. A lot of people know that I'm not doing fluff. So I get people who know they're gonna get a return on their investment. So I think you have to also know, what is your strength? What do you bring to the table? And make sure you communicate that to whoever it is that you're approaching. Because if you don't, then what's the point? They're not gonna even respond to you, because people get messages every single day. As we heard earlier, Kenny doesn't even respond to DMs on his Instagram. And there's a reason for that, because you get bombarded with a lot of things, and you wanna make sure that you get people who are serious.
To Sheldon, always had conversation with content creators, and I always tell them the point of this is not it's not to get money on the go. Like you start, you are supposed to make money, you are supposed to do this, you are supposed to do that, you are supposed to make the $1,000 or the $2,000. You are supposed to build a dedicated audience, and that is what you are going to monetize eventually. So you have to build. It's like as Gary Vee once said, getting that kind of audience and eventually monetizing is like in boxing, how you throw a jab. So you jab, then you throw a hook. So you have to bait in people, you have to establish the audience. And in return, when you have their attention, you can start by selling the eyeballs to the brand. With me, I have never had a business manager or someone to position my brand to the brands until recently. That I had to take things seriously, because there were brand deals coming in that were huge, and I wasn't going to. It wasn't just, oh, Charlie, come and do this for me. These are like multinational brands, so I had to bring in a business person to come and talk to these people for me. Try to let them know my interest, what I can do, my strength. Most of these brands, they are looking out for their interest, so it is important that you get someone who is going to have that kind of conversation on your behalf. So that is what I have done. Right now, I have hired a business manager that is in charge of some of these things, because I can't just be doing all this. But that is how I get to collaborate with some of the brands. Also, I have established relationships with some of them by working for them for free when I was coming up. So we built that kind of relationship. I know this might sound some way, but then I had to work for free for some of the brands to build relationship to a point where I was in their system. So anytime they need an influencer for a gig, it is Kwadwo Sheldon that you come to. I know a lot of you want to, when you start, you want to make money, you feel like, I know I have had conversation where I said you can't take advantage of a creator, but at some point, you need to do some things for free. And that is what is going to, put your name on the table. That is what is going to put your name in their system. So I did that, built the relationship from scratch.
Right now, I've been able to come up with Afrozig. Afrozig is a street movement where we groom young dance talents into professionals. I have a foundation, Afrozig Foundation, where we support the less fortunate, the vulnerable. I'm doing a whole lot with dance, and with my page, I make sure whatever I'm sending out there is very, very clear for anybody who's going to come into my DM. So with posting more often, staying consistent, dedicating myself, I just had a DM from Guinness saying, oh, they needed me to be the face of the campaign, Black Shines Brightest. And boom, this is where we find ourselves now. I've been able to be the face of the campaign all across Ghana. I've been able to travel around with my dance, UK, Rwanda, South Africa, around the world just for my dance craft. And I'm here to let people know that if you choose a career, make sure you stand by your decision. Okay.
Sometimes it can be very lonely. You can have self-doubt, especially, as we were talking before, comments that come your way, they can shatter you like completely. And so without having that confidence in yourself, it's easy to kind of think, okay, let someone else do it because they're probably better qualified than me, when actually that's not the truth. It's about you believing in yourself and letting others see that before they approach you, and knowing how to price yourself and being confident when these businesses approach you and knowing your self-worth. I think once you have that position, you're pretty much good to go.
Okay.
Well, I think a lot of it has to also do with the ecosystem. I believe when I started, people were just looking at the digital space or the online space, even to begin with. So we had to go through those growing pains of it being seen as a viable platform for people to want to come and now start engaging people in that space. But thankfully, over the years, we've seen it improve quite a lot, and we still have a long way to go.
I think I was watching a video of Mr. Beast and the evolution from the beginning till now, and one of the key decisions that he took at the earlier stage was hiring a business manager, which has played a very big role, because some of the big things it does, you can't go and be calling people, do this for me. You've shared that you've acquired, or maybe you've hired a business manager. Can you take us through the importance that person or that entity plays in the success of your channel?
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes you have to look at it as in two heads are better than one. There's only so far I can go by myself. And so having a manager, he can open doors for me that I can't necessarily open myself. He can have conversations that I don't have time to have, and so he just kind of keeps me going. And I think that it's made a huge impact for me. Sometimes you feel a little bit deflated and it's like, what? Do you know who you are? Do you know what I mean? And so it kind of pushes you and keeps you going. And I think as well, when I look back, I've been ripped off by people so many times. Like I have lost so much money, and just having someone there is almost like a buffer to stop that thing happening. Like I've had situations that if I tell you now, you wouldn't even believe me. I've been dragged through it, and you have to continue. But doing something by yourself, it's just a lot more difficult. But when you're doing it with someone else, it just makes it that much easier, and you'll go that much further, And so I get to bounce ideas off him. He gives me ideas too, especially when I do house tours and things like that. I can't necessarily follow up with clients' leads, or I can't do that. Because a lot of the time, people just want to talk to me on the phone. They're not really even interested in buying a house or whatever. They just want to talk. And I just can't I don't have that time. So if he deals with the leads, it's easier for me. And so he just gives me time to be able to focus and be a bit more creative in doing other things. So for me, having a manager it's made 100% difference for me.
And I believe that's about making a business decision.
Yes.
Not somebody that will come and direct your creativity.
No.
But somebody that thinks the business, how much you should charge, what's the value of all these things.
No, because my brand is very specific, because I think I'm a bit unique, so I'm a little bit quirky. So, and I don't want anyone to take that away from me, When I do my videos, I don't over-edit them, because I like all my mistakes to be in my videos, because I want you to see that I'm human, I make mistakes, and I don't want someone to come in and wipe all my videos so that they look perfect, because I'm not perfect. So I want it to be, when you meet me, how you saw me on camera is how I am in person. So I wouldn't want to erase that, because that is my brand. And so once you know what your brand is, no one else can come in and step and say, you should do this or you should do that. So I like to keep my creativity for myself.
Okay, thank you. Ziggy, one of the key things that brands look out for when they are collaborating with YouTubers or influencers is value. And most of the time they will ask, if I pay you $10,000, what's the value? I'm just going to promote your image, or I'm going to put your name out there. What type of value does your brand give to businesses?
Well, it depends on what the brand is looking for. So let's take as you need a dance video for your song, or maybe you need me to make a post about your brand, or you need me in there to advertise maybe something about your brand. So let's take it like a dance challenge. A dance challenge is what's happening right now. Like so many people, anybody who comes up with a song wants to do a dance challenge. So a dance challenge, I'm going to be posting you on all my platforms, of which I have over 1 million followers on Instagram, 900K on Facebook. Like my platforms have got numbers. So I'll be posting a dance routine on all platforms. I'm going to have to get influence on other people, not only in the country, but even in the country, I have over 200 dancers who are dancing under me, which is Afrozik. So imagine you bringing your song to me, and I'm going to distribute it to them with my choreo. So everybody's going to join in, and also I go international people. So I send the choreo to people. I mean, I travel around, so I've made connects. I send to them. I also sort them out. So obviously, if you give me your song, it's gonna go viral. I'm handling this new song called Body, and if you go on her page, there are like over 100 videos on her page right now. It's gone viral because of the connects I've got here and outside. So with me, the value is confirmed if you make that choice to come for a dance challenge, or maybe for your brand. I've got the numbers and I have dedicated fans who would want to see whatever I'm posting there. They are interested in seeing. I'm working as a gym instructor, a dancer at a gym called Matrix Gym, and I'm also advertising the place. I recently made a post of the place, went around to show them about the stuff, and yeah, people are engaging. I've had calls from them saying so many people are coming in there. So you just need to have a dedicated fan base. Exactly. If your fan base is dedicated, you shouldn't see any worry purchasing me as a brand, because my fan base is dedicated. So if you pay this amount, the value is confirmed. Yeah. It's not like halfway. It's like so we make sure that anything you give to us, we deliver fully and very perfect.
Okay. I mean, it's good that you guys are amazing. Ameyaw Sheldon, it's good that you guys are all amazing. You meet up the targets for the brands that you are working with. But then again, we still have some influencer YouTubers. When you pay them, they are reluctant to even deliver what you are paying for them. In your work as an influencer for a lot of brands, working with like various brands, what should be the attitude? What should be the approach for YouTubers to ensure that what the businesses are paying for, they are delivering that, even if more than that, but not below?
Well, so as an influencer or as a creator, it is important that you don't burn bridges with some of these brands, because eventually there's going to be a word of mouth in that community, and they are going to, I approached this guy to do this for me, he didn't do it, I didn't get the ROIs, I didn't do this, and you see, it will go a long way to affect your brand when it comes to brands approaching you for things like that. So me, for instance, when a brand approaches me, like I want you to do something, it's like my life depends on it. I remember when Kia approached me to create a content about the World Cup so that they will get people to participate in a challenge, and they will select people and take them to Qatar or wherever they want to do. So I was not in the country, I was in Belgium. Then there was no way we could come up with a content idea that would, in that kind of environment. So we had to drive outskirts of outskirts of the country to go. I think we were in Antwerp. So we had to drive outside to go, create content. We had to sit there, edit it, make sure it fits into whatever they wanted me to do. Because my reputation is at stake here, and this is the Kia brand. They don't want you to do this, they don't want you to do that. You are supposed to give them like a 10/10 kind of content. So you put your everything in it. And you see, when you create beautiful content and you put it out there, and people are enjoying it, there is some form of fulfillment that you feel for your life. Is around, like sometimes you go post video where the video will bust your mind and you just go see this. So I did this, you understand? I take pride in creating content for brands, and I will just sit back and say, I did this, I did that. So when they approach me and they do, okay, this is what we want you to do, I make sure I deliver, because if you don't deliver, if they don't get the ROIs and the investment that they have invested in you with regards to the money and whatever you have taken from them, they are not going to come back again. So as an influencer, as a creator, you need to make the conscious effort to activate all your creative juices, crosses, everything. There are a lot of things, a lot of factors that will militate against you, but once you are in a position to create content, just do it with go all out and make sure that what you put out there will resonate beyond the brand. It is going to resonate to a lot of people, and that is going to be like a social currency for you as a brand.
Yes, thank you. Ivy, I know you've collaborated with a lot of brands on your channel, real estate and all the things. Should brands themselves start creating their own YouTube channels instead of collaborating with YouTubers?
I don't think that brands have to create their own YouTube channels, because having a YouTube channel isn't for everybody. You know, it's not everybody's purpose to be out there creating channels, so that's why they're collaborating with people who can actually do it. I mean, it's like that in business all the time. You always collaborate with somebody that you feel could be mutually beneficial in whatever it is you do. So no, I don't think that every company or every brand has to create a YouTube channel. Creating social media platforms, yes. In the world that we're in today, I do believe that every business should have an Instagram page. They should have, a Twitter page, and possibly a TikTok, and whatever other social media platforms work for them. But I don't think a YouTube channel is necessary for a company to have one, because it's not necessary for everybody.
Okay, I think Sheldon wants to add.
So with regards to the YouTube thing that you are saying, I feel like recently a lot of brands are swaying towards the creation of content, original content for their platform. If you look at Access Bank, they have a series on YouTube that they sponsor and they host it on their YouTube channel. GT Bank started a YouTube channel some time back, so that they invest in original content, and in the course of the content creation, they certainly place their their logos, their whatever, their brand logos or whatever information they want people. They put it in such a way say, as you are consuming the content, it will pop up and you will see. And I feel like that is what a lot of creators are supposed to do. You need to create, you need to get that kind of dedicated audience, then eventually you will monetize it. But when you start and you have 1,000 subscribers and the watch hour and you want to make $1,000 and things without even having any value proposition, there's going to be a problem. So invest in the content. Get people to consume your content. See, sometimes, I'm not proud of this, but you see like 6 adverts in my video because they watch, because it's Kwadwo Sheldon and I have the attention. I didn't start by, you have to watch, because if you don't watch, I don't make the money, so you watch. By the end of the day, that is how it works. I'm giving them value, and the value is the product, my hour of the day, the breakdown or whatever. If I put 10 adverts in them, they are going to wait. So if you don't build this kind of fan base, who are going to be dedicated, who are going to behave, when you don't create content for a day, it's like people have withdrawal symptoms and things. It's crazy. I go through that thing a lot. Like, when are you going to create video? When I was in Qatar chilling, people were asking, bro, I can't chill in life. I can't chill in life.
All right, Sheldon, I'm thinking of the future, as you said. What's the future of the Kwadwo Sheldon brand?
So the future of Kwadwo Sheldon brand, if I say it, they'll say I'm arrogant. Okay. Sorry, language. So the thing is, we are trying to own the ecosystem. I've told my people and the people around me that when you wake up and you don't see a video, a product from Kwadwo Sheldon, I've failed you as a creator. So I wake up and I make sure I'm giving people value for their eyeballs, the attention that I get. And that's what I'm trying to replicate, what multimedia, like the traditional media people are doing, but on the internet. So at some point, we are like, the joy news and whatever, but on the internet. That is what I'm trying to do. Because, first of all, we have identified that there is a need for people to consume content, entertaining, engaging content. And we have the real power to do that. It has gotten to a point where the brand is not even about Kwadwo Sheldon. I have a lot of creators on my platform coming in to do their thing. So we are trying to give access to a lot of creators. You might not have the numbers, but you go feel be creative, you go feel be entertaining, you go feel be this and that. Just come to the house of content. We are going to find ways and means to make sure we put you in the newsfeed. But the thing is, eventually we are looking at owning the newsfeed. Everything every product that you consume, video content, long form content, whether on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at least something for come from Kwadwo Sheldon. We need to own that space. And that is why I'm trying. That is why I keep introducing new line of content, experimenting. Some of them they are failed, some are working. I've been able to. I remember when I created a approach, it was on Twitter. I asked them, I'm trying to build like something like a sports show. What name should I give to it? They suggested names. Then the next day, we were like creating content. People do analysis and everything on the TVs and the other platform. We just give them banter, pure, organic, emotional banter. Just come and rant about Manchester United. That is what people want. So we give people alternative to what people are doing. I don't want to do the BBC kind of thing. I want to create organic content. Like when I went to Qatar, when people were taking pictures and videos of buses and players, I was in the streets talking to people, trying to get people to engage with my brand and whatever. So that is what I'm trying to bring perspective. So eventually, me Momji, I'm going to own it, and we are going to expand. We are trying to expand to other countries like Nigeria. We are trying to expand to a country like South Africa. We just have to own the system because digital media is the future. And more times they pay me say I know discover I'm broke with Balaka by now. We need the spite. Honorable Kennedy Japan. Me then for people to do that. But then the ambition it be crazy. I know sometimes it sound like this boy is talking too much, but this is some of the things I think about.